What's up, everybody, and welcome to the North Shore Drive podcast, Pirates edition. New faces here. I was going to go with like a Jim Nantz, hello, friends kind of dramatic thing, but I don't know. I don't have it in me today. This isn't the Final Four. This isn't the Super Bowl. It's better. It's Pirates talk. Jason Mackey alongside Colin Beazley. Really looking forward to doing these things. Really looking forward to divvying the beat up with you, my friend, even if I'm jealous about you being in California right now. That's okay. Colin is across our wonderful country. What's going on? How are you?
Doing well. It's actually pouring rain today, so it's very
really?
un-Californian weather today. It's not that nice and sunny out, but I've been here for a few days, kind of since the offseason slowed down a little bit. It's been good. Today's the first day it's been rainy and gray, so been good to be home, but always fun to talk about the Pirates, and definitely still keeping up to date with what's been going on baseball wide and pirate wise over the last couple weeks.
A lot to get into, man. We're going to talk about some arbitration projections, how they could maybe reshape the Pirates roster. We'll talk a little bit about Oneil Cruz, Andrew McCutchen. What should the Pirates do there? Colin's got a cool series coming up. He's going to tell you a little bit about that. But first, this show is presented by FanDuel, and Mr. Beazley, who is in Los Angeles near the Dodgers, is going to give you some odds for the World Series.
Yes. So after the Dodgers took a 1-0 lead last night, and the Mariners have a 2-0 lead, of course, the Dodgers are currently minus 135 favorites to win the World Series. Mariners are second, plus 175. Brewers are currently plus 850, so some good value there. And the Blue Jays, down 2-0 in the ALCS, are currently plus 1,300 to win the World Series. So a lot of interesting totals there. If something seems interesting to you, check out our friends at FanDuel and place your wager there.
FanDuel.sportsbook.com. Awesome. So let's talk a little arbitration projections here. And we're playing a little bit of catch up, and that's okay. I'm going to tell you about the format of these things going forward a little bit later. But right now, the arbitration projections came out. They're interesting. We both wrote on them. I think there's some obvious ones, Colin. I think there's some not so obvious ones. There's one guy that I think we probably differ on, I think. But what were your initial impressions of those coming out?
Yeah, reading both of our stories, I think that we wrote about them differently, but we had a lot of similar takes, similar decisions. I think it's worth getting into the big one, into just starting off the top with Oneil Cruz. I think that's by far the most interesting one, just because his number, it seems the hardest to project in my perspective, because he led the National League in stolen bases. He's hit 20 home runs. He's done a lot of good things, but he's also batting 200 and struggling defensively. So what was it? I don't have it ahead of me. Was it 337? Was that his number?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me double check. 3.6. I knew that. So Bart was 2.7. Cruz was 3.6. Mm-hmm. We'll probably inadvertently flip them, but yeah, Cruz 3.6.
Yeah, I think that's a relatively simple decision for the Pirates, in my opinion. I believe it's a bet that they have to make, considering what we all think Oneil Cruz can be. He's shown those flashes, and if he does what Pirate fans know he can do, if he lives up to that potential even slightly, then 3.6 is a steal. But at the same time, if he hits 200 again, if he struggles defensively, if he has those effort and attitude struggles again, then 3.6 is a lot of money to pay for not that much production. But I still think it's a worthwhile bet. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a worthwhile bet. I don't even question for a second whether I'd pick up that arbitration projection or not, because, I mean, if Oneil Cruz has a star turn in 2026, the Pirates are going to look awfully stupid. You're like, you could have had this for $3.6 million. And I'm not ruling that out. Like, I still think Oneil Cruz can be really, really good. There's a lot of tools there. And I look at what he doesn't do well, Colin, or like where he struggled, and some of it to me is fixable. I think his outfield stuff is fixable. I still think he can be a very good center fielder. A lot of areas, and like I go back and forth on this, and I wrote this in something that I don't know if he's a bad defensive center fielder. If you look at defensive runs saved, he's a bad center fielder. If you want to look at defensive runs above average, he's an average center fielder. If you look at fielding run value, he's an average center fielder. My eyes tell me he wasn't a very good center fielder. But he's got the arm, he's got the legs. What he doesn't have is the intuition or the feel for it. I'd keep working with him. This sounds weird to say, but like he actually showed some metrics that were pretty good. Like he dropped his chase rate. His whiff rate was about the same. He swung a little bit less. He hit 100 against lefties. That's horrible. He had a 577 OPS over the final 4 months. That's horrible. But like it's in there. And I don't want to give up on that, at least not at the number of 3.6. If the number was like 9.8, yeah, I'd give up on it. It's like a poker game. Like I'm just, I'm folding my cards at that point, but I'm not folding at 3.6 and they don't have many better options. So I'm riding it out. Here's one. Let me toss it back to you though. This is the one I think we differ on, or we may differ on, or I think it's a little bit more debatable. What do you do with Joey Bart?
Yeah, that's the one that I agree we differ on. I just don't really know that there's still a spot for him if considering where the Pirates are at. They have Henry Davis, who I know he didn't hit well. I know that he had all sorts of struggles. What he hit this year is pretty unacceptable to say the least, but he's also kind of entrenched because he's Paul Skeen's guy. He's Bubba Chandler's guy. His defense has been so good. His catcher's ERA has been really solid. The guys love throwing to him. It's something where he pretty clearly has a spot on this team. He's going to make the opening day roster. He'll at least catch Paul Skeens. Can do a lot more. And considering what he does well, it's worth having him on this team just because of his value defensively. And I don't think that Joey Bart has done enough either defensively or offensively to show that he for sure needs to be a Pirate next year. Now, 2.7 is not a particularly high arbitration projection. You could pick that up banking on his 2024, him to go back to 2024 on his 2024 splits instead of what he produced in 2025. But given the value of Davis, given what you could potentially have with Rafael Flores and wanting him to develop, I just don't know that Joey Bart is someone who needs to be on the Pirates next year, in my opinion. I know you differ on that.
I mean, I'm not going to pound the table, probably because it would knock my microphone over or something like that. But like, no, seriously, I understand why people would feel the way that you do, Colin, and probably more people feel that way than the way that I would look at this. I want to know what Joey Bart can do at first base, because if Joey Bart can hit, and there's a lot of ifs here, certainly. Like if Joey Bart could give me a 799, 800 OPS, what he did last season, and he could play a little bit of first base, I can work with that between him and when he could catch, give Henry time off. Henry's going to catch Paul, Bubba, probably a couple other guys. That's fine. But it adds a little bit of offense. And it might enable me, if I'm Ben Cherington, to spend some of my dollars, and we know there's not going to be as much as anybody might want. Spend them somewhere else. Spend them at third. Spend them at left field. Something. If I can then platoon Spencer Horwitz and Joey Bart at first, that's the carrot that's like dangling. That I'm kind of chasing. But like somebody who says the heck with it, it's not worth it. Like the production wasn't there. You're going to keep Davis. You want to play Flores. You want to maybe give Andy Rodriguez a chance or sign somebody else who's better. It's kind of tough to argue with that too. Joey Bart wasn't very good this past season, especially defensively.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying there and wanting him to play first base, but you already have a catcher who can play first base in Flores. And I understand.
I know.
I understand Flores has only been here since September. I understand he didn't exactly light the world on fire. He did some good things after his September call-up, but he's not someone who should be in Sharpie as part of the opening day roster. So, but at the same time, if you want someone who can be your backup catcher and be a right-handed platoon hitter at first base, you already have that guy. And at 2.7 million with Joey Bart, why not? If you see him as a first baseman, why not pay a little bit more and just get someone who actually knows how to play the position, who you're not trying to convert from catcher? I know that the Pirates,
because it's not as fun as trying to shoehorn somebody into first base. That's why.
That's a good point. I hadn't considered that. And, when I think about what the Pirates lineup looked like in Miami last year, maybe that is exactly what they're going to do. Maybe Joey Bart will be your opening day first baseman. Who knows?
All right, let's go through the rest of them pretty quickly, though. I think there's some easy decisions here. There's one that we can debate, although you and I see eye to eye. Anyway, Dennis Santana, $3.4 million. We're picking that up, right?
Easy. Keep
Easy.
it.
Oviedo for $2 million, picking
Yep.
that up, right? Colin Holderman for $1.7 million. We're turning that down, right? Jack Suwinski for $1.7 million. We're turning that down.
Agreed.
Yohan Ramirez for $1.2 million. Turning that down.
Agreed. Yep.
Dauri Moreta for $800K. We're picking it up.
Yep.
Okay. And these, by the way, they're not official numbers. They're projections by a guy named Matt Swartz. He's a baseball economist. I think he works for the Nationals right now. They come out via MLB trade rumors, but and again, they're not like dead on, but they're pretty good. So like you're in that neighborhood. So we're saying like, do we want to pay Colin Holderman $1.7 million, or are you going to non-tender him? Meaning I'm not going to give him a contract. We're not going to go through this process together. He becomes a free agent. All right. So the one I omitted is Justin Lawrence, and it's 1.2, which typically would be very high for a reliever in this sort of situation. But Colin, I'm intrigued by his stuff, man, and I'm picking up that number. I think you agree with me, but can you talk me away from it? What would the reasoning be to not do it, or are you doing the same?
Yeah, I'll start this by saying I do the same. I think it's a worthwhile gamble. The reason that you wouldn't sign him is simply because he didn't stay healthy this year. He's someone that the Pirates picked up off of waivers. He was pretty terrible. Even the Colorado Rockies, who were horrifically bad this season, didn't want Justin Lawrence. And the Pirates pick him up, and Lawrence didn't stay particularly healthy this year. So $1.2 million is a lot of money to pay for a reliever that you don't know how much he'll play. He's coming off of an injury. You can find a lot of good relievers for around that $1 million price point. But like I said before, I would pick him up simply because of how good he was in a limited stint this year. He had, what was it, like an 0.56 ERA and about 17, 18 appearances. He was, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but Justin Lawrence was very, very impressive in his limited stint in Pittsburgh. If you think that was real, and you think that maybe this could be your setup man, maybe that's someone who could go in front of Dennis Santana and be a key part of your bullpen, that's worth picking up. I think it's worth the gamble. I think that with how good he was in a limited stint, I want to see more of him, and I want to see whether he is the gem he looked to be in 2025.
I'm absolutely with you, man. First 11 outings for Lawrence had a 79 ERA. That is 0.79. That's very good. Hurt his right elbow and then came back in September, had 6 scoreless outings. The sweeper is what's nasty to me. That thing's like a Frisbee. 0.86 batting average against, what else? 114 slug on it, used it 50% of the time, 40% whiff rate. Anyway, I mean, it's a gamble, like Colin's saying, but like you're making that choice with a lot of good information. If he's staying healthy, which he came back and he has, and you feel like he can remain healthy, man, I'm thumbs up on Justin Lawrence. I think he can be part of this bullpen. And you mentioned before Santana, they need a bridge or two to Santana. Like it should be Carmen. He should be back there. Isaac Mattson proved a ton. He should be a late inning option as well. But like I want a veteran lefty, maybe 2. Lawrence would be great depth there. And for 1.2, if he pitches the way he's capable, it's a bargain. All right, we got more to talk about. I want to talk about Andrew McCutchen. What should his future with the Pirates be? We also have an upcoming series. Colin's going to preview a little bit of that and maybe another treat or two. We'll see. It's the PG Pirate Show on the North Shore Drive Podcast Network. But first, we have a message from our friends with Greenewalt Roofing.
Hey, Pittsburgh. When you think of great roofs, you think Greenewalt Roofing Company. With over 20 years' experience, Greenewalt knows your roof is your home's first line of defense. From rain, wind, snow, and ice. That's why Greenewalt Roofing's standard for perfection is so important. You can trust that their team of experienced installers will treat your property like it's their own. When it comes to roof replacements, Greenewalt Roofing is Pittsburgh's only choice. Visit greenewaltroofing.com today or call 412-314-8882 to schedule your free estimate. PA contractor number 36262.
All right, welcome back to the Post-Gazette Pirates podcast on the North Shore Drive Podcast Network. I'm Jason Mackey alongside Colin Beazley. You can see that from watching the screen. The Pirates have a very big decision. They have a lot of big decisions this offseason. I don't think Oneil Cruz is one. I think they're going to run it back. We know they need to add offense. We know they have a good pitching staff. They've made some decisions with getting rid of Oscar Marine, Mike Ribello. They're going to be hiring a bench coach, a pitching coach, keeping Matt Haig, all this stuff. Like, we can debate that and we will. What do you do with Kutch, man? I had some guys over at my house working on insulation today, and that was the first question they asked. We were talking about the Pirates. They said, "Is Kutch coming back?" I said, "I don't know." I weighed out. I talked about both sides of it. I can see both arguments. What do you think? What would you do?
I agree with you. I can see both sides of it. I think that if you keep Kutch at the current contract and keep exactly what you did this year, I think he's even said it. If you run back exactly what happened this year with the Pirates, including Andrew McCutchen at DH as your basically full-time DH playing in 140 games or however many he ended up playing in, then you're going to get some similar results. The way I'd bring back Andrew McCutchen is if he's willing to take less money and a lesser playing time. I still want him in my clubhouse. I still want that tie. I want him to be a Pirate. I want that tie to the 2013 to 2015 teams. I want someone who's done it in Pittsburgh and gets what it means to play here and play in front of these fans and all of that. But I can't justify spending $5 million on a DH who is just, I think it was 0.1 WAR he produced.
Yeah.
I need someone who's going to hit a little bit more. I need someone who's going to provide some more flexibility. I don't want them to have to play him every single time every single game the way it seemed like they had to do that this year. I'm fine with him being on the team, but I'm not fine with him having the exact same role next year.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I guess we're skipping ahead to the end, but like, that's what it should be, right? Like, you should just find a way for him to end his career in Pittsburgh. You say, look, Andrew, this has to be it. We're done here. This is going to be the last one. There's a part-time role for $3 million. It's available here. And if he chooses to not take that, like, I don't begrudge Kutch for that. Like, I just think that's what works for the Pirates. And if that doesn't work for Andrew McCutchen and he wants to keep playing, then go keep playing. But I wouldn't I don't want him playing as many games as he played this season. I don't think I don't think he's at his best. I don't think the Pirates are at their best. Like, and here's the downside. I guess I'll be the evil person here for a second, but like, if I'm Ben Cherington or I'm somebody who's looking at this objectively, his OPS has dropped each of the past 3 seasons. He had a 700 OPS this past year with a 95 WRC plus. Colin, you know what that is, but anybody who doesn't, you want it to be 100 for league average. So they're saying McCutchen's 5% below league average. His WRC plus was better than just 4 designated hitters in either league with at least 300 plate appearances. Like, that's not great. If you're the Pirates, who stunk offensively, and you need to be looking at every aspect of your offense and try to juice more runs, like designated hitter is one of them. So that's the like tear McCutchen down side of it. The build McCutchen up side of it is he's done exactly what he was brought here to do. This is it, and then I'm going to shut up. But among Pirates with at least 750 plate appearances since Andrew McCutchen came back to Pittsburgh, he's first in on-base percentage, second in OPS. He's averaged 15 homers a year. He's been worth more wins above replacement than you could sort of predict, given $8 million a year on the open market. So, like, what are you complaining about? He's done what he's supposed to do. So I don't know the answer, man, but that's the calculus that goes into it for me.
Yeah, I've heard that stat too. I've seen that he's been one of the best Pirates hitters over the last 3 years. And he's done some good things. I agree. He's done what he's been signed to do, but the team around him hasn't done what they've needed to do. The fact that he has been the Pirates' best hitter and was at many points during the 2025 season, that's something that doesn't necessarily mean, in my mind, that, okay, Kutch needs to be brought back. It means that the team around him needs to be upgraded. There needs to be some new blood. I know that third base and left field are the 2 obvious positions to add it, but also designated hitter. That's a really easy spot to find someone, because you can get pretty much anyone to be your designated hitter. You don't need to look at positional needs or anything like that. I think the Pirates probably should be flexible, but that's another story. He's done a lot of good for this franchise, and he very clearly should have the right to be a Pirate for as long as he wants to be a Pirate, in my mind. He's done enough there. but the team around him needs to be better. And the easiest place to upgrade is at designated hitter. So the easiest way for the Pirates to get better offensively is by not giving him 140 starts at designated hitter. Where they go with that remains to be seen. I'm looking forward to it this offseason.
Yep, we shall see. And I want to talk about free agents to end this thing, Colin, but I also want to tease. We're going to be doing podcasts on Tuesday and Friday, I believe, even throughout the offseason. We're going to find stuff to talk about. They're not going to be super long or crazy. We don't want to take up that much of your day. But we're going to start. This is just kind of our catch-up podcast and set the scene. But starting later this week, we're going to delve into the Pirates by position and break down what we've seen, what we liked, what we didn't like, where we go from here. We'll get into some more nuanced discussion. So I'm not going to be down in the weeds with the Cutch talk too much. And Colin's going to spearhead our written version of that. So the floor is yours, my friend. What are you going to be tackling?
I feel you teed it up pretty well, but we'll be going essentially position by position. On this Friday, we'll be starting off with the outfielders. I'll be talking about who the Pirates had in 2025, who's around, what their offseason storylines are around the positions. I'll make sure to add a prospect to watch in each of these positional groups, and I'll take a look. I'll tease the free agents a little bit. I think we'll probably go deeper into position by position free agent articles as well, but I'll make sure that you know the names you should be watching and recapping what the 2025 outfielders were. So we'll start with outfielders, then infielders, starting pitching. We'll combine the bullpen and the catchers, and we'll wrap it up on Halloween by talking about the coaching staff. It's a project I'm very much looking forward to getting into over the next couple weeks.
I love it. Let's do it. There's always something to talk about, man. Baseball is the gift that keeps on giving. Let's wrap with this. We're going to talk a lot about names, candidates, trade candidates, free agent candidates, that sort of thing. Players who would help this team. Give me one or two that are at the forefront of your brain. Guys, you want to see them target.
I want to see them. This is very much spitballing here, but I kind of agree with what you've written about Max Kepler, and I just think that there's an opportunity for some sort of a trade with the Phillies. I think that the Phillies are going to be looking to change some things up and make some swings and at least shuffle their core a little bit, regardless of what they do with Schwarber and Real Muto. I think that someone that could be worth trying to see if you can target, even just as a one-year rental, is Alec Bohm, third baseman for the Phillies. He's in his final year of arbitration, so I don't necessarily know that it makes sense timeline-wise for the Pirates, considering he is just under contract for 1 year. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies look to move him on this offseason the way they did last offseason. I think the Pirates have a need at third base. I think they need another right-handed bat. Bohm's not necessarily the power you're looking for, because I think he had like somewhere between 10 and 15 homers, but he hit in the 270, 280 range. He's a guy who could fit in the middle of the order and could really upgrade the Pirates offense. I don't know that it makes sense considering he's in his final year of arbitration, but his projection's around 10 million. That's something that could be done, potentially even do something where you sign him and then extend him for 2 or 3 years. It'd be a bit of an out of the box move, but I think it's something that the Pirates could potentially consider and the Phillies would be interested in as well.
Yeah, I like that, man. I've been asked a few times about Alec Bohm. That's why I kind of made a noise, just about by readers. And I mean, it's a good idea. It's somebody that, makes a lot of sense for the Pirates. I threw out Max Kepler, and I do believe, and there's several of them in an article I did on free agency where you're looking at, it would be great if the Pirates went out and signed Eugenio Suarez. It'd be great if they went and got Kyle Schwarber, Kyle Tucker, or whatever. Let's kind of meet them where they are. Let's be realistic here. You're looking for guys who can still play, who maybe have a down year and might be looking for something that the Pirates can give them if they overpay on it a little bit. I like Kepler a lot. That's a number one for me if we're talking theoretically free agency. Brandon Lau's another one I listed in there, would make a lot of sense trade-wise. The Rays are going to be looking to get something back. They've scouted the Pirates system a lot. I could see that at least making sense. Jordan Westberg is another one. We've heard a lot of chatter between the Orioles and the Pirates, and the Orioles needing pitching. So maybe that comes to fruition. I mean, obviously those guys are trades. It's going to be fun though. I'm really rooting for a different kind of offseason. for us. I hope we've got some stuff to cover, and I hope it's not just a whole bunch of like waiting around and people getting mad. Let's get goofy and let's do some things. Let's break some things. Talk about some things.
Some shuffling needs to be made for sure.
Yeah.
If, like Kutch said, if you run it all back in 2026, you're going to get the same results. And keeping the same, there's all sorts of stuff to discuss there, but
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing how the Pirates shuffle things up, assuming they do.
Likewise. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get all of this content and so much more. Colin and I will be back later this week to talk to you a little bit about who's first up in the position series again. We doing outfielders?
Starting with the outfielders.
We will break down the outfielders and we'll try to solve some problems for you here on the Post-Gazette North Shore Drive podcast and YouTube network. For Colin Beazley, I'm Jason Mackey. Talk to you then.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.